Discern the energy between you and God. Sometimes we don't discern it properly, so we need humans to tell us what to do. But when you have defined the energy between you and God, you know when he gives you a picture. The picture is in you. You know when he shows you this is where to go. And you know that it's him, and you know that it's not you, because sometimes we think, is it me? We have kept so much of our life alive that when we're with God, we don't know if he's speaking to us or if we're speaking to ourselves. And also, there's a way to be so one with God that when you're speaking to yourself, it is God speaking to you. There is a way to be so one with God that when you speak to yourself, it's God counseling you through you, as you, for you. It is God counseling you through your own mind and intellect. It is God holding you accountable to a greater stage. There was one scripture that Paul would talk about things, and he would say, now, I have a commandment from God on this. God told me this, and this is what I'm going to say. And then there are some incidents in scripture he would say, I don't have a commandment from God. This is from me. He said, but I'm a servant of God. In other words, God had trusted him so much, and he had defined his energy with God, that he was able to give personal opinion and say, now, this isn't God, this is me. And the spirit of wisdom wouldn't correct him on it. It means when God trusts you, it's not a matter that you've done everything right and you're not sinning and cussing and jumping through windows, but when you've identified the energy between you and God and you know how we talk. How many of you have defined your energy with God when you know the vibration between you and God and you know this is him speaking to me? He's giving me a picture of me doing greater things. I see a picture of me constantly doing greater things, and whenever I try to quit the picture, it brings a guilt, or it traps me, it arrests me. It lets me know that I'm trying to run away from my greatest potential. That even though I'm seeing that I'm riding 5 miles, I'm trying to accept 2. And nobody's going to say anything, but I know that I'm cheating my energy. How many of you understand what I mean when I talk about cheating your energy? You're cheating your potential. You are cheating the awareness of yourself. You are holding it to a substandard level when you don't follow the picture. You see a picture to do this. You see a picture to bless. You see a picture of how you are to become. You see it. He doesn't tell you, but he tells you through allowing you to see it. God tells you by allowing you to see it come to pass with you doing it. And then you hear the voice that says, do it. It's your own intellect interpreting the picture. And your own intellect will interpret the picture and create a language, and it will become a God said. The word or the picture of the Lord came to me and it said. The word of the Lord came to me and it sang. So success is constantly in your hand, but it's not just through a Bible. It's through your unction, your intuition. It's when you see a picture of you going further and nobody knows it. God's way is in you. Success is not in a book. It's not just in you praying and making yourself ready for it. But when you see the picture, give yourself over to the picture of the greater standard. How many of you know what I'm saying? It's there with you. The way is already with you. How to get it done. And see, when you step into this dimension is a full life dimension. One thing about the dimension of God, it doesn't know when a convocation is coming or a conference. It doesn't get you hyped for a conference. It doesn't get you hyped for meetings. It doesn't come because it knows you got a meeting to go to and it's going to be a lot of people there, so I got to get you prepared to speak to a lot of people. No, the greatest dimensions of the sons of God is when we define this way in daily life, because the kingdom is in you. The kingdom, all of the fullness is within you, not the programs and all of this other stuff. But when you begin to maximize this way within you, then you find yourself doing greater things. How many of you are giving over to what you see? You see, how many of you understand what I'm saying? First of all, I'm talking, and that'd be something if y'all don't understand what I'm talking about. Just give me a like or a heart, or raise your hand and let me know I understand what you're saying. If you ignore the inner pictures of what you're doing, you are shutting the door. See, whenever you get a picture of you doing great or doing further, that is the door. You'll be shocked at how God blesses us by just doing personal things that he's showing us. You don't have to do a church thing to get a blessing. You have to follow the picture in private. See, your private submission to the pictures will bless your life. Your private obedience to the picture, just by riding a bike, just by you obeying your potential will be a blessing. See, God will bless you, not because you're in front of people at church doing something in front of people, but because you are following the potential that he's revealing of you. See, when you follow your fullness, God will bless you. You are creating a blessing or a benefit when you follow the truth of the picture that you see in your soul. When you see your soul telling you to go deeper and you go deeper, that is a blessing to your life. Your life will be expanded and extended because you are following a secret potential picture. How many of you understand what I'm saying? You don't need nobody to lay hands on you to do it. When you get a picture, see, the greatest dimension of the prophetic is when we lay hands on people and they see a picture of them doing greater. I don't have to say $50 line, $200 line, $250 line, turn around and tell your neighbor, slap your neighbor 5 times. After a while, your neighbor going to shoot you. After a while, you slap your neighbor going to hurt you. So after a while, you have to be able to see a picture and follow it, and follow that picture in all things. Listen, let me hear you say, Darren, in all things now. In all things, which when you know, let me write this, and you see a picture of you writing 5 more chapters, that's a blessing. See, God would free some of us from slavery and toiling on workplaces and things and let you start your own company when you obey those private commands. It's not a matter if you got enough money in the bank. It's how well do you obey private potential. How successful are you obeying private potential? How many of you are perfect in obeying the way that's already within you? God would heal us and free us and open great doors for us. See, when you don't obey private potential, you're going to need somebody else you could see to always obey. You're going to need people to obey, when really God doesn't really need another person to obey if you do it first. If you obey the potential in yourself, you won't have to wait for somebody else to obey it to give it to you. Because there are some people God done said, give that person $500,000, give that person $100,000, give that person $30,000. You take care of this. And some people, and you say, I'm waiting for you to obey God. But the thing is if you obey the private potential, God knows how to keep you going. You understand? So before I go, how many of you are obeying your private pictures? Because the way is already within you. The way is already there. It's just that we ignore it. We ignore it. We have relationships and we're on the phone and we're talking and it makes our mind cluttered and we don't pay attention. You'd be shocked at relationships that we have that keeps our mind cluttered so much that we don't obey private potential because we're busy talking to people who fill our mind with clutter.